Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Disclaimer: fair use, act, education, purpose, use only. All rights, image, and music play belong to their prospective owner, and we do not claim ownership. Hi y'all, welcome to the game, y'all. Check this out, y'all. Look, this is very, very important. Now, this where everything finna get crazy. All right. I need everybody attention right now. Everybody know, you know what I'm saying, how I be looking at the case when it come to Kanika now. You know what I'm saying? Because we know the Jews was involved when it come to Kanika Jinke. Because we already know King Rob mentioned Israel for whatever strange reason. And then there's a murder happened dealing with a sacrifice and people gain money and fame off of it. And you see how powerful they cover all that up, a mass cover up. This the biggest cover up in the world to me. This bigger than the OJ. So what I'm basically saying is, Kaniga, when how the news aired her death, I didn't like it. I didn't tolerate it. So I said, man, the news crooked. Can't even trust the news. And it made me look at the news more different. Because I saw it with my own eyes and I heard it with my own ears when them people gave us a narrative. Tricking the time narrative, right? So when I was looking into that though, so you know, everybody know, man, you know what I'm saying, Trey Gang, you know what I'm saying, be talking about that Illuminati, Freemason, and some God too, right? And you know, if you go back to my last live video, right, this was finna blow everybody's mind. Cause when it came to the Kanika Jean case, I told everybody, I'm like, look, y'all, I prayed to God, and you know what I'm saying? When I prayed to God, before I prayed to God, I said, man, look, I'm finna find out what happened to that girl. I'm finna get on my hands and knees and I'm finna ask the Lord Creator, the one that created me, that I know that it's a God out there and he created me, and I know I just didn't come from no Big Bang Theory like the science trying to tell us. Y'all came from a magnetic rock that blew up, boom, and this thing, you know, it made fishes and horses and humans. So to make a long story short, right? Let me do it like this. Y'all know what's going on in Israel? And once you think about Israel, think about the Epstein case. Right? Once you think about the Epstein case, because it's dealing back to Israel, that's how he set up the other politicians like Donald Trump now, the other presidents, the governors, you know what I'm saying, and people higher up above them. All right. So when I went back into the Bible, this is what I learned, gang. Watch this, y'all. That's Nipsey Hussle. This Haley South, right? Don't you know what they got in common? This is what they got in common. If you look at him, don't he look just like him? Cause I remember before Nipsey Hussle died, they said, hey, he did a DNA accessory and it came back that he was related to him. And that's what the news said. There was a proven fact. All of a sudden he got killed. All right. So now look, if you look at him, right, you know who he is. He was a king, and guess who he related to? King Solomon, King David. All right, you can all agree that, yeah, you know what I'm saying, he black. Oh yeah, he black too, and they related. Don't they look alike? Hold up, this finna get deep. This finna get so deep, cause when I click the button, right? When y'all know when they used to show the image of Jesus, right? Y'all know the famous image of Jesus with the long blonde hair, you know what I'm saying, with the blue eyes, right? But in the back of his head, it always be a sun. All right. This why. You see that? Now, ain't this a her from a sheep wool? And then if you look at it, they still look alike. Look, they still look alike. Y'all following me on this? They still look alike now. Hold up. I'm finna show you who exactly that we is. Mm-hmm. So if you see these people, guess what? They royalty. If you look at these images, anybody in the chat got an uncle look like him, a granddaddy look like him, a uncle look like him, a uncle look like him, your cousin. You see what I'm saying? Hold up. It's finna get real deep, right? Cause this finna show you, if you read in the Bible of the 12 tribes of Israel, you finna see it with your own eyes. Check this out now. Look, watch this. Just check it out, guys. Y'all see the picture, right? When I say look at these pictures, look at the hair, especially heels. Man, y'all, in Revelation, they said, man, you know, God or Jesus is his foot was like flame of brass, like bronze, right? Look at this skin tone. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? And they said he had woolly hair, not straight hair, but woolly hair. Now this is what I'm finna get into it. What the hell? What the hell, bro? All right. Now look at this image. This finna make sense if you give me your ears right now. Just look at this image. You see those people, royalty? Check this out. You see what he looked like? You see how his beard white? Hold up. Look at him. Look at him. I bet you anybody in the chat got a family member look like one of them, but just without the royalty clothes on. They say you might got your granddaddy, he got the all white beard now. He might wear it like this, but he ain't wearing that type of hat. You see what I'm saying? Hold up. Wait a minute. All right. Once you go to him, let's read it, gang. Let me go to a part. Watch this. Right? Now you see how Jesus look? Now you see how Jesus look next to his picture. Keep this in mind. You could do a little Photoshop and just lighten the skin a little bit and change the hair. But guess what? You still got the eyes, the nose, and the lips. All right? I just want y'all to take a good look at this. Just look at it. Hold up. If you look at his history, because you know these people could trace back their own history, right? Don't everybody got an uncle look like this? Or a dad look like this back in the old days? Mm-hmm. This will really blow your mind. Cause somebody would be like, man, they look like my pops. Or they look like my uncle. They look like one of my cousins, you know what I'm saying? Hold up. Let's do it, cause I already read over this, right? I already read over this. This one I'm finna take y'all all the way back to Genesis. In the book of Genesis, check it out. Hold up. Let me just scroll down a little bit to get where I'm finna get to. All right. If I go to him, now look what he looked like. See that? Y'all see what he looked like dressed up in royalty. So when I say look at this image, do y'all see this same image sometime when you see homeless people on the streets? Hey man, can you spare $1 and some change? I'm just trying to paint the image right quick. Hold up, I just want you to look at that image. Keep those images in mind and look at the dates and look when he was emperor of Ethiopia, right? Check this out. All right. If you go back to all the wars, this one thing I learned, right? If you go back to all the wars, look what they wearing. Look at the horses. All right. Let me scroll down. Hold on, let me keep scrolling. Y'all can see what I'm talking about right quick. Hold on. Not this. I need to keep scrolling. Oh shit, I ain't even nowhere near what hold up, I probably already passed that John. Alright, hold on. Let me go back up. I know what I'm finna do. Hold on. Alright. I show y'all this image. Now I want y'all to look at this image, right? Especially him. Cause this is a dead giveaway right here. Him. Peep his image. And look at his image. Look at all them image. Alright. Here go the history of the Jews. History of the Jews. That's gonna date back to the 17th century. The black Jewish community. Alright? You wanna but I'm gonna show y'all another timestamp all the way back in the book of Genesis. I just wanna show this for references, right? And if you go back to the history, you know what I'm saying? You know, you look at the Republic of Congo, Angola, you know what I'm saying, and all this, right? That's why you got the race scientists, you know what I'm saying, and all this. Let's just scroll down. Oh, no, this the April Fool's Day. I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on. I don't need this. Oh, okay, go right here. Check this out. Y'all remember Noah's boat? Do y'all remember in the book of Genesis, it's talk about Noah's flood, right? Boy, we finna get in the tea now. Man, we finna get in some tea now. Cause when I say remember his image, when I say remember his image, him. Don't they go back to this image? And this a Georgia Jew. Let's see who the Georgia Jews was. They go Georgia, right? Here go Caucasus Mountain, right here. So this was where your boat landed at, allegedly. Right here, because y'all remember the world supposed to been flooded. So this what a white man would look like. Have you seen an old homeless white man look like this on the side of the freeway that's pole? With a homeless sign? I'm glad you mentioned the King James Bible. I'm so glad you mentioned the King James Bible. Check this out. Everybody thumb Lakeisha Owens up right now. Everybody thumb Lakeisha Owens up right now. Cause this is where I'm finna get at. Since you said that, did you know this right quick? Hold on, let me go to this. Y'all know this Queen Elizabeth, right? Queen Elizabeth. That's the one that they predicted all in the slave movies, right? Cause y'all know Queen Elizabeth is the queen, but y'all know is in her family tree, you know what I'm saying? All the queen down there was named Elizabeth. So she gonna be Elizabeth at one particular time. Before her, it gonna be another Queen Elizabeth. Like they got Henry the First, Henry the Second, Henry the Third, Fourth, Fifth, and you know what I'm saying, so on and so on. Right? All right. This finna blow your mind. This finna blow your mind. Thumb me up and say, Trey Gang, blow my mind right now, and don't let me down, because I'm going to call you out on this. I need that in the action game. Let's wake these YouTube streets up with some real history, or some history that I just learned. Check this out. If you watch all the slave movie Roots, guess who the queen was? Queen Elizabeth. All the slave movie, it was always Queen Elizabeth. Right? Did y'all know in her family tree, another Elizabeth that was Queen of Jerusalem, and she was related to Mary, Jesus' mama? Did you hear what I just said? Queen Elizabeth is related to Jesus' mother. If you on your cell phone right now, split your cell phone screen and Google Queen Elizabeth and Mary related, and guess what they gonna say? She the first cousin. Look, watch this. Mary was deep. Hold on, now I gotta go to the top right here. And guess what? Don't they look like little white girls? Blue eyes. Remember the little red hair? You know, watch this. Check this out. Hold up. This it? Ain't this the queen? Elizabeth. This supposed to be Mary. The story of queenship and power that Elizabeth, Queen of Italy is cousin with Mary, the Queen of Scots. Whoa! Wait a minute. So when you think about Jesus when he was crucified, guess what? Check this out. If you got Queen Elizabeth that made slave movies and depict her, yeah, they you know what I'm saying, they enslaved and transported slavery from Africa all the way to the United States. You seen the movie Roots. You seen the movie Roots, right? But nobody didn't know that Jesus' mother was a queen too. She was a queen too. The two queens never met in person due to their relationship, right? Cause guess what? Queen Elizabeth is where? In Rome. In Rome. In Rome. So I appreciate the person said, yeah, the King James Version. Cause guess who Elizabeth. Guess who Elizabeth was married to? This finna blow y'all mind. And when I say this shit, check this out. Guess who Elizabeth was married to? If Elizabeth is cousin with Jesus' mother, and she also is a queen too, right? They cousins, right? Guess who Elizabeth's husband was? This finna blow y'all mind. This finna blow y'all mind. King James. When it come to the King James Version of the Bible, that was her husband. Hi, y'all. Google it right now. That's why you got the King James Version of the Bible. Well, now you finna see a murder cover up. Now you finna see a murder cover up. Check this out. Hold on, y'all. Matter of fact, let's read it out loud.
And intermediaries, many of which have lasted to this day. Here is the story of two of the greatest figures of the 16th century, rivals, cousins, women, but most of all, queens. The Tudor dynasty. Henry VII had 4 children: Arthur, Henry, Margaret, and Mary. Elizabeth I was the daughter of Henry VIII and his second wife, Anne Boleyn, whilst Mary was the granddaughter of Margaret and her husband, King James IV of Scotland.
Oh, do y'all remember Margaret in the Bible? Whoa! Uh-oh! So if you look at it like this here, Queen Elizabeth is married to King James, and he the one that everybody rely on when it comes to the Bible. Get the King James Version. And you got her cousin beefing with her other cousin because you got Jesus supposed to be the Son of God, and they had to crucify him. Boy, don't take no rocket science to figure what this finna head to. And then when you think of the history that the presidents and the school taught us, you know y'all was in slavery around about the 1600s. So when King James came with that Bible, they finna come everybody down. Jesus is the way, so let's stop the slavery right now. Why you think they stopped slavery? Oh shit, and they started this shit in the 1600s. So that means Guess when King James died? Cause if you look when King James was born, shh. If King James had a Bible version and scattered it out all over the world and preaching Jesus, something going on. Hold up. Man, look. Y'all know Mary was born to rule. That's why they said Mary is the virgin. You know, she was the virgin and she could see Jesus by God. Oh, shit. Man, I might as well just let this, because I just want to get this a clear understanding. You got King James here. The one that was preaching the Bible, the gospel. That's a husband of Queen Elizabeth, and she cousin with Jesus' mother. And they was beefing at the time when Jesus got crucified. Guess who took, if Queen Elizabeth, if the Queen of Rome, guess who took Jesus prisoner? The Roman soldiers. Yeah. The Roman soldiers. The Roman soldiers crucified Jesus, right? They killed him. So that means he gotta exist, but they had to cover up that murder, right? But watch this. Check this out. Just listen to this shit again. Think about Queen Elizabeth. Y'all know y'all favorite slave movie. You know your favorite slave movie. Guess who was sitting at the dinner table plotting and planning how they could ship slaves? Queen Elizabeth. She the only name. Have you noticed when it comes to slavery, she's the only queen they bring up? The only queen. The only queen. All slave movies. It's always Queens Elizabeth. But in different times.
Scotland. Mary was born to rule. The only legitimate child of King James V, she inherited the crown at just 6 days old after her father died on the battlefield in 1542. Elizabeth, on the other hand, had a much more convoluted path to queenship. She was struck from the line of succession in 1533 when her mother was executed, and only restored to it in 1543, behind both her half-siblings, the future Edward VI and Mary I.
don't even know how my microphone just cut off. At that time, I done pulled the plug out. I don't even know how I pulled the plug out. So this is what I'm saying. Let me repeat what I just said, right? This is what I just said. I'm finna blow y'all mind. Queen Mary. Check this out. This ain't her, but this gonna be another Queen Mary. Cause keep this in mind. You name your, back then your tradition was named after your kind. Just said like, don't you know back in the old days, if your daddy was named John and he had about 10 sons, you gonna have John Jr., John Anthony Jr., and Little John, you know, and then Big John, and all of them gonna be John, you know, the same name, right? All right. Keep this in mind what I'm about to show y'all. You see her image? So what I was saying is, if Queen Elizabeth got family tree that dates all the way down to Jesus, I trace her family tree down all the way to Jesus. She is the Queen of Rome. And if you look at her hair, notice the hair is red. So when you think about the redheads, think about Esau. When Esau had red hair, you remember the story of Esau? If you trace back to King Edwards and King Henry, don't they got red hair? Hold up. When you go back to the Bible, David and Goliath. When David was going against the Philistines, David was going against the Philistines, y'all. Esau had red hair. Everybody know about the red hair over the body, right? Hold up. So if she was cousin with Mary, Jesus is related to Queen Elizabeth. Not only that they gonna be related to Queen Elizabeth, but they gonna be related to who? Us. And why I say us? Cause once you go back to this, hold on, where I need to go? Right here? Nah, not this one. What's this? Nah, not this one. Hold up. When you go back to King David, look at his image. If you look at King David image, you gotta go back to Nipsey Hussle image. Hold on, now I'm getting ahead of myself. This is what I was saying. If this is Elizabeth, Queen of Rome, with red hair related to Esau in the Bible, and they've been battling it out with other Jews before Jesus came, and then you go to Mary. Check this out, Mary. This Jesus' mother, who she look like. You see the image? Look how they painted her image. So if you look at Mary image and look at Queen Elizabeth image, they still look the same. Don't you think they cousins? And they look like cousins. You see this image? Now look at this image. Boy, I'm finna cook over here, Jack. They cousins. Look how, and then look, this, she was born in the 1st century before Christ, because you know she's going to be the mother, right? So she's going to be born before Christ. Look when she died. Early after death. Early after death. So look, to make a long story short, watch how I'm finna blow everybody's mind. Don't Mary look like Queen Elizabeth? Boom. And they say they cousin. Check this out. If you look at this image, you gotta look at this image then. Hold up. Santa Claus. Wait a minute. If you look at Santa Claus, guess what Santa Claus really looked like? Everybody was right, and then this always dealing with kids, right? You see Santa Claus got the peace pipe in his hand, smoking. Ooh, with the kids, giving it to the kid. But guess who he really is? Saint Nick. And guess who Saint Nick was? A Christian bishop in the Roman Empire. So basically what I'm saying is, you see how Rome is ruling the world right now? The same people that crucified Jesus, right? Same people that crucified Jesus. And the same people that you crucified Jesus, right? Guess what? If you see his image, if y'all see the image, right? Look at this image again. Hold up. That's why Napoleon had to shoot the nose off the statue. It's the nose that's gonna be a dead giveaway. Cause the nose give you the family tree. Don't you know how like you be like, yeah, that's my baby. That baby got my nose, my mouth, and everything. Look. Check this out. If you look at this image of Saint Nicholas, don't he look like Moses? I mean, the white man that landed on Coggan Mountain, cause this is what Noah would look like. Check this out. This shit so cold, they finna give you a timestamp when they fled. Keep this in mind, they in Israel. Keep this in mind, they in the United States. Keep this in mind, this is where the Jews mostly populate. In the United States and Israel. United States, Israel. Look at the population, right? Once you go to this, now you finna see why you had temple. Guess who was enslaved first? When Moses, check this out. When Moses said, let my people go, hold up. Guess what Moses would look like? Look what Moses looked like. Watch this, y'all. Look what Moses looked like. Ooh. Don't that look like a white man? And notice his hair red. Notice the redness in the hair. Think about Cain descendants, right? Think about Cain descendants. You got the Canaanites, right? You got the Canaanites. Look, then think about David and Goliath. Think about Queen Elizabeth people. Oh shit! Is that the real reason why Moses said, let my people go? Let my people go? It wasn't black people in slavery, it was white folks. Check this out, watch this, check this out. This Moses, right? You hear this? Let's scroll. Let's just go to some pictures. Look at this image. Who's slaves? You don't see not one African. Look who was enslaved at that time. Not an African. Not an African. I don't see no African, but look what's going on. I'm gonna let that sink in right quick. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Get a good look at that picture. Now watch this. You don't see no African. When you look in the book of Genesis, when Moses said, let my people go, look who he was talking to. Let my people go. Look at the race on earth. That's why they had all their heads shaved. Now look. If you see the women in there, watch this. What if Nipsey Hussle got DNA in us system, right? And you see how they really look alike? They really look alike on this picture, to be honest with you. So, when it come to Moses, look what they all look like. Look what they all look like. This Moses, this what they all look like. All of them damn near look like Jesus. If you look what Nipsey Hussle would look like with his beard, won't he look like Jesus? Don't he look like Jesus in Jesus' image? Hold up. Look. Look what they wearing. That's another thing to solve the case. Boom. You see how it look? Moses had to come with the 10 commandments. Look at the image. And the reason why I'm saying look at this image, because now you see how this image, a little tone browns a little bit. You see how this image brown? Moses at the burning bush, why they got him the same color as Nipsey? Don't the same color match? Look, I'm just boom. This Moses. Notice they got the hair, right? You see the hair? Now it's a little blondish. Think about that's that Donald Trump color. So if they got red hair or blonde hair, you know what descendants they come from. That's why they say you can't change the spot on the leopard. You see it? Check this out. Hold up. Don't that look like Jesus? Don't look. skip this. You see this? Just look at the images. Images alone. That go back to who? Don't they look like him? Don't they look like him? In the white form. Damn, where I was at? Matter of fact, let me go to the Mountain Jew. All right, check this out. Look. The Georgia Jews, right? It's a community of the Jews that immigrate in Georgia, not the United States, but the Georgia I showed y'all this by Caucasus Mountains. Remember that. Remember that. And now you finna see, damn, Trey Gang, you done matched these people features up. I can actually look at myself and say, I know who I am now. Watch this. During the Babylon captivity, if I show y'all Moses was saying, let my people go, guess who was in slavery? And guess where they was at? In Iran, Babylon, right? Can we all agree that Babylon is in Iran, right? It's in Iran. If you agree, because there's receipts on this, everybody know, think about the Tower of Babylon. They said in the book of Genesis, they were building the Tower of God, and God said, knock this tower down and confuse all day language. That's in Iran. Check this out. It's gonna blow your mind again. Watch this. Look what that symbol look like. If that's Iran, don't white people look just like Iranians? Shit. Shit. Boy, you see it right here. Don't you see what an Iranian would look like mixed with a white man? Same logo. That's where you get the Aryan Nation Brotherhood. Right? Hold up. Check it out. In Genesis, it tell you about the Garden of Eden. So once you know where the Garden of Eden is, right? Booyah. Check this out. Now you finna see, here go Babylon, this Iran, and there go Jerusalem. So now you see, when it comes to Noah's Ark, it started with the white man, like it supposed to be another creation, like, yeah, y'all the only one living, so it's up to y'all to repopulate the world. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Keep this in mind. This Babylon. This is where they built the tower, try to build it back up to God. Right? Here go Jerusalem, where Jesus was born in. Keep this in mind. You see what Nipsey Hussle looked like? Well, watch this. I'm finna blow y'all mind right here. Hold up. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me, hold on. All right. Hold on, y'all. I just pulled it up. Did y'all ever heard about Afro-Iranians? thumb me up if you never heard of these before. Afro-Iranians. I heard of Afro-Americans, you know what I'm saying? That's all I heard of when it come to Afro-Americans. Let me cook. Let's go back, different time back to the Bible, right? Check this out. If you want to know where every race come from, you looking at Nipsey Hussle. You looking at Nipsey Hussle. When God said, man, look, Jesus is real, and this what he looked like. This what Jesus would look like. When you think about Moses' story, don't y'all know all those slaves were dying from the heat? They skin couldn't even take the heat. Whose skin can't take the heat? White people. The sun is their worst enemy, right? Why the sun is their worst enemy, but the sun benefit our favor? We love the weather. You see what I'm saying? It's the reason why the sun trying to burn their ass up. And I ain't trying to sound like that though. But once it go back to the Bible, you will understand and you'll be like, I see what you saying, Trey Gang. You know what I'm saying? And I can relate to that. Hold up. Watch this. Afro-Iranians. Look what that Afro-Iranian look like. First of all, look where they originated. You see what they was already building? See what they was already building. All right. They're just giving you, this is what they were looking like in Iran. In Iran. That's why, man, I'm finna start investing in art. Cause I used to look at art like, oh man, that's a cold painting right there, you know. I ain't never understood why people would pay so much attention for art. This what make art so valuable. Cause of this shit. That's an Iranian mixed with black. Now check this out. When you think about Nipsey Hussle, and I could pull up so many celebrities, and match it with a white man features, with the Iranian features. Cause 9 times out of 10, if you do a DNA, guess what your DNA gonna come back? You're gonna be mixed with African, European, and Iranian. That's why the Iranian fuck with us. The Iranian is the only race they'll never accuse us of stealing something out the store. Don't watch us on camera. They just waiting on you to violate. But the Chinese, they waiting on your ass. They watching you. They waiting on you to steal. You know what I'm talking about? But them Iranian, shit, they fuck with you. They fuck with you. So when you think about, that's why I got a number of Iranian corner stores in our neighborhood. Right? Don't that make sense? This finna go tie back to Jesus. Cause when you think about the Garden of Eden, guess where the Garden of Eden originated? Iranian. Babylon. That's where the Garden of Eden came from, bruh. So what I'm basically saying, when God created the heaven and earth, when it come to the Garden of Eden, it came from Iranians. That's why we got medicine, opioids, drugs. Them the forbidden fruits. Them the forbidden fruits. If you label it as a drug, as a plant, you can name it as a herb or a vegetable or a fruit. See what I'm saying? Just say like they call drug these days candy, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, sip some of that lean, they got that candy flavor. That's candy, right? You know what I'm talking about? But candy flavor is still like a fruit, like sweet flavor, like sugar, right? So it's still like a fruit. You see what I'm saying? All right, okay, check this out. I'm finna show you African heritage that dated back to Noah's time. When Noah boat landed in Caucasus Mountain, even though the world was flooded, but I believe Noah had to flee from Africa. All because, hey, we got to land this boat here at a destination. And that's when they're gonna start it off like another creation. When Noah got out the boat, you know, Noah brought two same of the species, and you know what I'm saying? So when he got out the boat, he supposed to replenish the earth, and it supposed to come out to his kind and his likeness. Let's go to Noah. Let's see what Noah looked like, right? Check this out. I'm trying to make a point here. Hold on. Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark is a significant biblical narrative describing a large boat built by Noah at God's command to save his family and pairs of every animal species from a catastrophic flood sent to cleanse the earth of wickedness. The story, found in the book of Genesis, illustrates themes of obedience, trust, and redemption. Noah's Ark is often depicted as a symbol of hope and new beginnings, with its construction based on precise divine instructions.
All right, let me pull it up. Man, what the hell? Hold on, y'all. Here we go. All right. When you look at Noah's Ark, right? Let's just see what Noah looked like. Cause that's the only thing we focus on. Let's see, can we click on Noah? Hold up. Let's see, I just want images. I don't care about nothing else. Now keep this in mind. What he would look like if he shaved his beard off. Won't he look like a descendant from Noah's Ark? Yeah. Boy, this shit finna get serious. I know it's taking me long to cook right now, but goddamn it, you see what's finna happen here. If he shaved his beard off, don't he would look like him? This is like if you got a pit bull, you can tell what kind of pit bull you got. Oh yeah, man, I got a blue nose. Yeah, man, I got a red nose. Oh yeah, man, I got a Brenda over here. You know what I'm talking about? Oh yeah, man, I got a rat pit over here. You know what you looking for when you buy a dog, right? Hold on. Oh damn, man, I ain't even showing y'all. Look, what he would look like. Him. Noah's Ark. Look who finna teach you this shit about Noah's Ark. Can't nobody explain it better than him. Cause look who he would look like when they come back to the Jews. What? So if he shaved his beard, won't he look like him? If he shaved the beard. Same image. Not to sound racist, but I just want to put this in perspective. Just imagine this a pit bull right here. You can't change a pit bull to, you can't change spots or nothing. You could just shave his beard. Just say, let's get him a beard and go back to this. He will look just like him when he get old. Guess who else he look like? Watch this, y'all. Watch this. Don't he look like Santa Claus? Shit. Ho, ho, ho. Dealing with kids. You mean to tell me we done accept for him that he could come down our chimney at night and give presents for the kids while we asleep, and we can accept it? Not in 2025. If you got a white man coming down your chimney in 2025 on Christmas, best believe he gonna get shot. Boom, 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 with a Draco. With Draco. And when I say with Draco, everybody got Draco, white, Hispanic, you know what I'm talking about, all other type race. But look what they look like. So when you go back to Moses again, don't he look like Santa Claus, goddammit? Boy, I'm finna cook now. Don't he look like Santa Claus? All right. If he look like goddammit Santa Claus, right? And once you go back to the Iranians, don't the Iranians damn near got Santa Claus DNA in them? Look at the image. And this was 25 years before Christ. Ain't this funny that we living in 2025 years after Christ died and they got this? Oh, look, check it out. Look at the bird. Look at the bird. Don't you know when a white man grow his beard out, he look like an Iranian? And when the Iranian keep their beard, because you know an Iranian don't be naked face, you know what I'm talking about? Hold on, watch this. Check this out. Look at this. This is the head of a female stat dating back to what? 2100 years before Christ? Now you finna see, oh, that's why Noah had to flee. That's why Noah had to flee. Look. All this day back to Aryan. Aryan Nation Brotherhood. This is where Aryan Nation Brotherhood come from. And don't you know the Aryan Nation Brotherhood, now you see why they could dominate the jail and get away with some shit, because they can trace back their history all the way back before Christ. But you could ask the average person that's crippled blood, Vital Lord GD, and yeah, how long your gang? Yeah, my gang started in 1970. My gang started in 1960. Man, these folks been doing this shit, bro. Man, they been doing this shit. Check this out. Look, watch this. This before Christ, bro. This before Christ. Bam. They gave you the map. Here go Egypt. So you mean to tell me Moses had to flee? Guess who he would be fleeing from? If Moses saying, let my people go, guess what Moses looked like? Back again. Him. Them the people that actually built the pyramid. Cause they was up under slavery. That's how they know so much. Cause guess who taught them? The Africans and the Iranians enslaved white people. They enslaved white people, and that's who built the pyramids. If you think I'm lying, you could just sit here and think and be like, damn, I'm from the United States. Who built all the towers in downtowns, and who built New York? White men, when they come to that. And had the black people to build the roads in slavery, because the only thing they did was got some get back. It's like a boxing match. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a boxing match, right? Man, y'all been enslaving us for so many years that we had to come up with a Bible and give you the first creation of the world. Because guess what? If you look at your history right now, you could trace it back before him and be like, damn, we had these bastards in slavery. They just popped up out of nowhere. So guess what they said? Humans came from monkeys. Now, they said black people came from monkeys. Look, black people didn't come from no monkeys. How y'all get here? And guess how they got here? Fallen angels. So check this out. Just like this image I'm showing y'all right now, if you look back at all the UFO landings, and they always said, look out for little green men and look out for the tall Nordic people. Them the ones with the long blonde hair. Tall white people. And look out for these other people that's gonna be giant with long red hair. Think I'm lying? Watch this. It's gonna start in Iran right here. That's what they saying Garden of Eden is in this location. And once you think about when Cain fled the garden, right? Cain fled the garden. Guess what? He ended up in the city of Nod. City of Nod is in Iran. So we still talking about Iran. This is what Moses said, let my people go. Remember when Moses said, yeah, they parted the Red Sea? Here go the Red Sea right here. If he parted the Red Sea, you know it wasn't in this location. It had to be somewhere in this location. See what I'm saying? Now look how the Red Sea, you think Moses could part it with a stick and come across this land? He can part this motherfucker, set a booby trap like a high speed chase and set up the goddamn spice when the goddamn suspect come flying across that junk chasing y'all. You see what I'm saying? Hi, y'all. I appreciate the lights, y'all. I appreciate the lights. I appreciate those lights. So look, to make a long story short, if you say you a Christian, you ain't finna take no rocket science to figure this out. Oh, I heard about the 12 tribes of Israel. This all day location right here. Not here, but from right here to here. Right here, that's the promised land. That's what Moses went to war for. King David went to war for. Solomon, Hercules, all of this happening here. The Bible ain't gonna really speak up about Africa. If you read the Bible again, it's all about Israel, Iran, the Russians, and the Europeans. When they talk about the 12 tribes of Israel, this who they really talking about. 12 tribes of Israel. Cause guess what? This is Georgia Jew, right? That's by the Caucasus Mountains. You see what I'm saying? If this by the Caucasus Mountain, right? Let's go to the mountain Jews. This was Noah boat landed at on the Caucasus Mountain. And listen to their history, right? Check this out. They Jewish, right? You see their image? You see their image. And if you look at Noah, you know Noah was already rich. Don't look at Noah was a poor man. Noah had a big ass yacht, bruh. A boat. And transporting shit. And landing on land, right? Check this out. Look at the... If you look at Noah family tree, who they look like when you wake up in the morning and watch the news? Hold up. We talking about white people from Caucasus Mountain, but they was called the Mountain Jews. Guess what? Look, it was a subgroup from East Caucasus Mountains. Caucasus Mountain is where? You see Georgia Jews? This Caucasus Mountain. Remember when the Muslim was like, yeah, y'all know the white man came from Caucasus Mountain. If you weren't for the Muslim, we would have never known they came from Caucasus Mountain. And said, yeah, we got to teach y'all how to eat, shave, bathe, and all this because you goddamn stink. But it really wasn't that. Because these people was already in royalty. They was already in royalty. Look, I went from the Georgia Jews to the Mountain Jews. See how it lead back to the Caucasus Mountain? And guess what they look like? Check this out. Look, watch this shit. Hold on, now I got the from Eastern Europe, from Western Asia. You see where that's at? Now you see where that's at? Right there in Iran, Europe, and Egypt. Who was the first slave? White people. Look, you see it on the map. Guess what they gonna say? The Caucasus Mountain include the Great Caucasus. All the Great Caucasus Mountain? So you mean to tell me you want us to believe your boat landed on the peak of the mountain when the world flood? Or you fled there because Moses said, let my people go, and they had y'all lads on the run, so that's how you came up with the Noah story, because that's where y'all settled at the mountain. Hold up. Remember the Black Sea? So look, make a long story short, and we talking about the Conquer Mountain. This the white man history. This why they ain't finna teach this in school. Cause if you teach this in school, goddammit, if you teach this in school and you trying to teach history, man, you finna make it finna be some retaliation. Watch this. Check this out, y'all. Afro-Iranian. You see it for yourself. Right? Started from Ethiopia, Egypt, Iran, and India. That's how deep our bloodline go. This is what they ain't gonna teach you in school, right? Remember the Afro-Iranians and the Iranians? Look, check this out. If I pull up Bin Laden, guess who Bin Laden would look like? With his beard shaved off. Watch this. See that image? Hold up. Don't he look like Nipsey Hussle? So no, why my motherfucking microphone cutting off like that, bro? Man, I'm so mad right now, man. I'm finna redo this whole motherfucking life. I'm finna redo this whole life and delete this. And delete this one. I don't even know how my microphone getting cut. I'm looking at the wires and shit. I'm like, damn, I'm moving too much. And I done connect. I put it like this, sure. This is what I was saying, right? Don't this look like Nipsey Hussle when it comes to St. Patrick's Day, right? This finna show you how African is in everybody's DNA. Don't this look like Nipsey Hussle? And when Nipsey Hussle grow his beard, look just like this here, right? And guess who this is? St. Patrick's Day. So who is actually we celebrating? when it comes to Jew, we celebrating the average people. The average descendant come from a Catholic church, right? From St. Patrick. Check this out. Here goes St. Patrick. In the 5th century, that's a Roman Christian ministry. He a bishop. Don't he look like Santa Claus? Hold up, where's Santa Claus at? Don't he look like Santa Claus? You see how Santa Claus look? All right. Look what he look like. Paul. In the Bible. Don't he look like Santa Claus? What if Paul had kinfolks, had sex with Nipsey Hussle people, right? You don't think Paul look like Nipsey Hussle? White version? Hold on, that's Paul, right? But Paul look like, goddammit, Chris Kingler, Santa Claus. Don't Paul look like Santa Claus? But let's see who Santa Claus really is. Saint Nick. Look who Saint Nick look like. God damn it. Taking the same photo like Jesus did with the sun behind the head, but guess what he looked like? Same fucking nose. So, this the real Santa Claus. Him. Don't it look just like him? Guess what he known for? Alright. Guess when he died? December at the age of 33. What if December the 6th? When he died? He from the Roman Empire. He was a Christian. And he was a shrine. You know what a shrine is, right? Secret society. Whoa. Hold up. Is this the same Santa Claus that was an early Christian, a bishop, Greek descendant? Huh? Roman Empire in Turkish. Roman and Turkish. Y'all don't see this? Y'all don't see the difference now? Hold up. So they saying he was a Christian. They had to change his name to Santa Claus, all because he got caught fucking with kids. So they had to change his name from Saint Nick to Santa Claus. But guess what? We also know him as Chris Klinger. Check it out. Y'all see this name right here, Christ? You got Christ. Hold on. Watch this shit. He was a Christian, but you can spell Christ out of this. Out this name, and look at the last letters of it. You'll see what I'm saying in a minute. So let's scroll down. See that? Washing of the feet. You got a pervert creeping to your kids. Check this out. Nicholas heard to be a devout man who once been wealthy. So Santa Claus once was wealthy and lost a lot of money due to plotting and envious Satan. For his 3 girls, that means that he will remain unmarried and Come on, bro. Look. So you mean to tell me who this is? Saint Nicholas? Look at the skin tone. Now you see the skin tone now? So you mean to tell me this was Santa Claus? They creep down our chimney. Really? But if you look at this image, you still got to go back to the Mountain Jews. Hold on. You got to go back to these people. Cause guess what these people look like? Just like Santa Claus. Right? But look what DNA they got in them. Our DNA. Our DNA. Hold up. Here go the Pakistans, right? This is Pakistan. This is what the war going on right now. When you think about Israel going to war with Pakistan, think about David and Goliath when they went to war. And Israel defeated the Palestine by guiding the rock and throwing it and killing Goliath, because Goliath was a Pakistan. If you go with the war now, you'll see why they still going to war, Israel and Pakistan, right? But guess who's gonna be with them? The Canaanites. Guess who the Canaanites gonna come from? From Cain. Guess when Cain was ruling this motherfucker and said, hey man, you know, let me escape to this land and let me do this and let me get out of there. Look who he had to go against, the Philistines. So check this out. When you think of Esau like this. Hold up, watch this, y'all. Hold on, y'all. What the hell?
According to Wikipedia, Santa Claus is a legendary figure originating in Western Christian culture who is said to bring gifts during the late evening and overnight hours on Christmas Eve.
My bad, y'all. I'm trying to pull it up right quick. Let me just try to make it simple and plain like this here, right? Let me do it like this here. I gotta do it like this here, gang. Alright. To make a long story short, look what Trey Gang learned. Remember Caucasus Mountain? When I told you about the Caucasus Mountain, right? Everybody knows that, yeah, this is where the white man came from. Caucasus Mountain. And keep this in mind, they said, yeah, you know, the black man taught them to live civilized. You ain't got to live in cave, right? So we taught them about fire. Cook their food, cause you know they was eating raw. If they were eating their meat raw, now you would see why they would eat their meat raw, cause they ain't got time to cook it. All right. Caucasus Mountain. The reason why they fled the Caucasus Mountain, cause they was enslaved by Pharaoh and them in Egypt. Once you go back to this, you're gonna trace the Iranians' roots when they come to the Garden of Eden. So when they come to Garden of Eden, this is what Cain people gonna look like. Keep this in mind, you still got Africa. That's why you don't hear too much about Africa in the Bible. That's why they had to start it out with Adam and Eve, and then when Cain was like, yeah, you know, I need to dip out because I done killed, you know what I'm saying, and this, and then, you know, the Noah flood shortly came after that. Now you see why Noah flood had to shortly come after that, because he killed his own family members. He had to deal with his own family members. The African was still living at the time, right? Matter of fact, you could trace your history way before the white man. When they deal with the Iron Ages, the Bronze Ages. Once you find out, oh, this was the Bronze Ages. If you look at the skin color on the pictures, you can predict the color, and that's why they say Jesus was in the Bronze Age. When you go to the Iron Age, that's when they were fighting with swords and crucified Jesus. You see what I'm saying? Once they crucified Jesus, you know what I'm saying? And if you look at the Aryan Nation Brotherhood, you know what I'm saying, and all this, now you will see that before Jesus was even born, think about Noah's flood, they already settled her in the Caucasus Mountain. That's why you already had Africa people already in Europe. That's why you got statue of African features in Europe. Kings in Europe before the white man took over. All right. Have you noticed the average white person you see on the news or a football game announcement? They don't wear their beards. They got to be clean cut, shaved white men. Cause if you grow your beard out, oh, they're gonna tell you your nationality. Just like they don't want a black man to grow dreads. Cause if you grow dreads, you will see who you really is. That's why they say always cut your hair. You know what I'm talking about? Cut your hair. Cut your hair. Alright. If you look at what an Iranian look like right here, look what an Afro-Iranian look like. Let me go. I gotta go to her. That's what a black man look like mixed with an Iranian. That's what a black man looked like was mixed with an Iranian. So when they depict Jesus, said Jesus spoke Aramaic. So if he spoke Aramaic, where he was born in Bethlehem. You know what I'm saying? Right there by Jerusalem. Okay, I know when the white man, the Jews, the mountain Jews, the Jordan Jews was fleeing from the African, because Moses said, let my people go. Because if you look at his image, you got to go back to Moses again. Do he look like Moses? Hold on. Wait till I pull up Moses. So it will verify everything what I'm saying. Hold up. Let me find Moses. God damn it. I knew this shit was gonna happen. Let me go back to the Iranians. The Afro-Iranians. Let me see, can I click on some of these pictures? Now you see what the Afro-Iranian, and if you look at Noah time, right? Think about if they were building castles like this here, you won't walk in there in these type of castles with fig leaves around your private part. You will be wearing a robe, right? You will be wearing a robe. And look how they were living. They made mountains out of palaces. Remember when the Bible said, man, that if you can make a mountain, if you put your mind to it, you can make a mountain move by your word. Look how these people carve in the mountain. All right. Check this out. If you go to the Afro-Iranians, to the black ancestry, this is what you finna get. Here go the history. It's gonna deal with Ethiopia, Iranian, Egypt, the Persian Gulf. Once it comes to the Persian Gulf, don't y'all remember this? Now I'm moving ahead of myself. Oh yeah, I can go, look. Look what an Afro-Asian look like. When you look at this image, somebody got a best friend or know somebody look just like this. See what I'm saying? Look. Mixed with Asian ancestry through slavery trade. And guess what? It was founded in India and Pakistan. Don't they go back to Afghanistan and China? Whoa! Afro-Arabs. Let's look at the Afro-Arabs. Now what the fuck? They won't even let me click on that job. Right here. Saudi Arabia. You mean to tell me, bruh, it's damn near 3 million Africans in Saudi Arabia, 3 million in Yemen? Whoa! They don't tell you about this shit on the news. So now you see why you don't think, if you look at him, we know he a white man, right? So if you go to Iranian and look at his DNA, don't he look like Osama bin Laden too? Shit. Don't he look like Osama bin Laden too? Not only did he look, if you look at the bloodline, right? Him. That's why the white man, when they set the laws in the United States, that's why they were like, look, we're gonna make a bill about the 5% Indian rule, and if you got Indian blood on, you can own this land. That's how they were getting away. Look, if you check it out, why did? Don't he look like Mary, Queen Elizabeth? He look like Mary and Queen Elizabeth. They got something to do with Jesus. Because Jesus was born on the first century before Jesus was born. So that means the mama gonna be born before Jesus was. But she was born in the first century. Right? First century. Early AD. With that saying alone, you know what time it is. You know what's about to happen. Right? So look. So you want to know who were the wise men that came and visited Jesus from the east? Watch this. From the east. I don't know where I'm at. Whoa! Afro-Iranians? Hold on. Wait a minute. The same people that bred with Iranians and Arab people? Black people now. Check this out. So when the Iranians came to Jesus, look who they wanted to talk to. Keep this in mind. This the Iranians. You see that logo, that image? Ain't that the same image they showed you how Jesus would look like? Hold up. If you go back to the Jews and get the timestamps and the dates on here, right, and read all of this, and once you read all of this finna make sense. That's why he look like an Iranian. Look what they'll look like. That's why you got black people with the beards. Iranians have the beards. The white people, they shave their beard. Notice that every white man that got money clean cut and shaved, you know, naked face, like, you know what I'm saying, naked face, cause you don't wanna, cause you all gonna look the same. All right, check this out. This why you got April Fool Day. Look what April Fool was talking about. A practical joke, a hoax, a prank. Jokes often expose their action while shouting out April Fool. They saying they finna expose themselves. Once they expose themselves, April Fool, it was a prank, y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Hold up. If you look at the day of April Fool, right? If you read the origins of it, now you will see, damn, that's why they call it April Fool. Guess what? March the 1st to April 1st, you will see why they will call it April Fool. Right? You will see why they will call it April Fool, right? This is why they're going to call it April Fool. If you go to St. Patrick's Day, look who St. Patrick's look like. God damn. Damn. You see who St. Patrick is? That's who St. Patrick really is. St. Patrick is Irish. It's a feast. It's a religion cult holiday that's on March 17th. St. Patrick's Day. This who St. Patrick really look like. Don't he look like the image of God when they create God image? Also, he look like Santa Claus too. You know what I'm talking about? Do I need to go to Santa Claus show you the image again? Or do I need to go to Mary, Jesus' mother, and Queen Elizabeth and show you the same image and just say, look, you show that line, Trey gang, people don't go away. Hold up. Remember when they taught you in school? Hey, you know, it's St. Patrick's Day. If you wear green, you get pink. Alright, this is real St. Patrick's right here. Instead of the character, right? Check this out. He was a saint. In Ireland. It's a feast day. He said St. Patrick's Day was a day that official Christian had a feast day on the 17th century that was observed by the Catholic Church, right? Catholic Church in Ireland, you know what I'm talking about? Patrick arrived at the Christian in Ireland and celebrate and inherit the culture and the generation, you know what I'm talking about? Celebration. I need to scroll down with the church service because they celebrate fasting, drinking alcohol, and living the day will encourage holiday traditions. St. Patrick's Day is a public day of the Republic Island, Northern Ireland, right? Hold up, wait a minute. I'm trying to get to where I'm trying to. St. Patrick's Day still in the most country now. I want that. I want that. Drinking culture. St. Patrick's Day was in the 5th century. Hold on. Now y'all see how they going taking it way back? Now it was in the 5th century. Christian missionary and bishop in Ireland, right, known as St. Patrick's, right, declared that it was allegation that Patrick himself believed that he was born in Roman Britain in the 4th century into a wealthy Roman British family, and his father was a Christian deacon. Guess who I told you who's the queen of goddamn Scotland and Rome, right? And cousin with Jesus' mother, which is Mary, right? This show you what the family tree, this show you how long these white people know they family tree, bruh. Celebration and tradition. Guess what you celebrated for? You know what I'm saying? If you read this, boom. It's the Holy Trinity, an Irish pagan, a shamrock. Oh, shit. Let's keep scrolling. Matter of fact, let's go to Valentine's Day. Everybody know what Valentine mean, right? But look, when you really look at Valentine's Day was a feast to celebrate on the 14th as a Christian feast day. Honoring what? A Christian who was killed for their testimony for Jesus or their faith. That means they were killing you if you believe in Jesus. If you have faith in Jesus, they were killing you. In the early years of the church, the story depicts the offer that the devil saw through stoning, crucifixion, burning. So that means they did this to a whole lot of people on Valentine's Day. And then look who St. Valentine was. He was what? Born in the 3rd century of Rome. Same people that killed Jesus, dressed like the Pope. And guess who Jesus looked like? Him. And then look, once you look at him, you gotta look at him again. Still go back to Nipsey Hussle, because if you got any kind of black people DNA, you can pass for white. But that nose, those eyes, eyebrows, everything gonna tell it. Look, this who, check this out. When they come to Valentine's Day, this is what we look at. Redhead kids with hearts and talking about sexual relations. And guess who the kids look like? You see they cheekbones red? Damn. Do I need to go back to Santa Claus? Do I need to go back to Saint Nick? Saint Nick, look what he look like. Don't I need to go back to Santa Claus again? So look, if you got Santa Claus in December, this is how the Jews did it. We got to get in the holiday, give them Santa Claus, and we're gonna paint them our own image. You see what Santa Claus look like? All right. You see what the real Santa Claus look like? Nicholas, Saint Nicholas, right? They didn't tell you that Santa Claus was related to Queen Elizabeth and Jesus. No wonder why they were trying to say, yeah, you know, in Christmas time, you know, that when Jesus was born. In Christmas time with snow, you know what I'm talking about? That's why they saying, how would they was saying Jesus was born on December the 25th? That's when he was born, but we celebrate him in Easter though. Talking about resurrection, right? That don't make sense to me until I figured it out now. See what I'm saying? All the so check this out. This is what I'm finna basically show y'all, and I'm finna end it like this here. I done traced this back to Caucasus Mountain. I remember back in the days they were like, yeah, you know the white man came from Caucasus Mountain, and they were big news to the black people. Like, oh yeah, we finally know these bastards came from Caucasus Mountain. So when you came from Caucasus Mountain, that's where you get the Flintstones from. The Stone Age, cause that's what the mountains gonna be of, rocks and stones, right? Remember Barney and Freddie? So if you look at Barney and Freddie, look at their wives. One of them had red hair and one of them had dark skin hair, right? All right. Think about Esau. Esau had red hair, right? Let me show you who all had red hair. All right. We don't need we need the Stone Age. If we go back to the Stone Age, right? You see the Stone Age? Think about Fred Flintstone. Now you see why they ties were made out of stone. The frame made out of wood. Right? That's the Stone Age. There was the cavemen. Whoa! And guess what? Did they have all big noses, blonde hair, and red hair? Matter of fact, let me pull it up. The Flintstones.
According to Wikipedia, the first time is a 2012 American TV.
Say nothing about it. The Flintstones. Man, why they showing me all this type shit? Oh man, no. Hell That's why I'm so glad. Man, that's why I'm so glad that I ain't pulled my shit up. Where you at? So y'all know about the Flintstones, right? All right. If you know about the Flintstones, now you see why they landed in Caucasus Mountain. When you think about the Flintstones, think about Caucasus Mountain, because they were still with dinosaurs back in those days, right? So when you think about Noah flood, you got to think about dinosaurs, right? Can you make that comparison? That's where you get the Flintstones at. All right. Once you go in the Bible, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to start out with the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden going to be like, well, Cain killed his brother, boom, boom, boom. And then this is where God Holy Land is. So Cain was like, well, look, I'm going to flee the country, God. Put a mark on my head so nobody won't kill me. So he built the land of Nod. Then they started building the Tower of Babel. Then Cain got killed by his own relative. So when they were building the Tower of Babel, this is Iranian. So now you know this is Iranian, right? And that's why Nipsey Hussle looked like an Ethiopian mixed with an Iranian. He ain't even African at all. Cause if you look at what an Ethiopian look like, check this out. Hold up. I got it pulled up. If you look at the Ethiopia, look what Ethiopia look like, right? Just bear with me. Once you look up at Ethiopia and look at the image, see that? See that? All right. Hold on, y'all. So when it comes to Santa Claus, this the real Santa Claus. Him. His name was Saint Nick. Oh, Saint Nick. He was an early Christian, a bishop, in the Greek descendant, right? From Turkey. Everybody, when you listen to Turkey, Roman Empire, this all, what I'm basically about to tell y'all, everybody that I just pulled up is related to Jesus. Don't he look like Jesus? Don't Santa Claus, Saint Nick look like? Hold up. Santa Claus. Don't he look like Santa Claus? Not only that he look like Santa Claus, don't he look like Paul that wrote the Bible? So, if he look like Paul that wrote the Bible, can we go to Mary, the mother? If you go to Mary, the mother, red cheekbone. You got to go back to Santa Claus because he got the red cheekbone. So if you find out that, damn, shit, we are related. Look. Look what they look like. So when I show y'all, if this Jesus, why Jesus got red hair? I told y'all red hair finna play a role in this shit. But if you look at it, why you think they got a sun background around there? Cause maybe they a part of the Afro family. Like the Afro-Iranian, the Afro-American, the Afro-Jews, the Afro-Asians, the Afro-Bahamas, right? Hold up. Check this out. Why Jesus got red hair, right? And this the mama, look, this the virgin child with the angel. With red hair, baby Jesus got a red hair. So what I'm basically saying, guess how they try to switch the image up? Watch this. Oh damn, I see y'all can't even see. Damn, my bad, y'all. Y'all can't even see. Damn, my bad, y'all. I'm over here talking. I need to cut some of these monitor screens out because I got so many TV screens hooked to my laptop. I'm looking at the TV screen while I'm talking, but I ain't realized I ain't even changed the scene on my laptop so y'all can see this. But since y'all see it now, who this is? Mary, the mother of Jesus. She got red cheekbone, just like Santa Claus. Santa Claus. Look. This her with a Jesus with red hair. So look, if you look at it like this here, Queen Elizabeth, watch this. This finna show you how they didn't want you to know the real true bloodline of Jesus, right? They don't want you to know who the baby daddy is. Put it like that. Man, this shit so crazy. Look at it like this. They don't want you to know who the baby daddy is. And they had, just put it like this here. You got some racist people don't want to show off a black baby. Hold on. What you say? What you said, Tara? Watch this, Tara. Watch this. Watch this. Check this out. Watch this. Prince Henry.
According to Wikipedia, Prince Henry, Duke of Gloucester, was a member of the British royal family. He was the third son of King George V and Queen Mary, and was a younger brother of Kings Edward VIII and George VI.
Oh, don't this go back to the Queen? And look at Prince Henry? Don't he got red hair? So when you think about Esau, Esau had red hair, right? Look at the story of Esau. Guess who descendant Esau came from? If you find out who descendant of Esau came from, that's why they had to change the color of Jesus, bro. Shit. Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Man, I did so much research, gang. I ain't even wrong on this. Cause guess what? If you look who he looked like, you can go to the United States and look at the people that was in power in the United States, be like, God damn it, I ain't even know Trey gang. No. Hold up. But in this image, check this out, y'all. What this look like? If you got Elizabeth, don't she got red hair? Shit. You will never see an all-white Rottweiler. Don't you know, everybody know a Rottweiler is two colors, black and brown. You will never see a Rottweiler with any other color on it. Look, so if you got Queen Elizabeth, when you think about Queen Elizabeth, think about roots. And how they were like, yeah, y'all was slaves, y'all submitted to us and everything. And she related to Jesus' mother. So if she was related to Jesus' mother, right? If she related to Jesus' mother, Let me pull it up. Hold on, y'all. Here we go. Now you see why they got Jesus' head painted red? Oh! But I thought Jesus supposed to have blonde hair and blue eyes. Where the red hair come in at? Oh, hold up. His hair growing out like in the afro, like they hair, right? If you look at their nationality, what they look like? What they look like? Iranians. And if they look like Iranians, guess who they really look like? Boom! Now y'all see if Noah fled and landed on Caucasus Mountain, cause they was look, when Moses was enslaved, look who Moses was enslaved to the Iranians and the Africans. They were enslaving they white women. That's what the Africans, you know, when you read about the Aboriginal slave and the white, that's who built Egypt. So when I say that's who built Egypt, think about all those symbols in the pyramid. Ain't them the same white people that got it in rap songs and videos? Them the one that built the pyramid. So they got the knowledge. So what they did was, when they taught them how to build the building, they come with knowledge. And when they come with knowledge, you could basically overthrow them and build your own nation. You see what I'm saying? Look. If you got Osama bin Laden look like Nipsey Hussle, then you got, if you look at what Jesus' mother really looked like, and look who she's standing by, red hair, won't it make sense if Elizabeth got red hair? This gonna be on Elizabeth's side of the family with the red hair, cause they was beefing. They was beefing. Look, this why you got Paul. Look, that's why you got Paul the disciples. So if you look at it like this here, when they killed Jesus, that's when her people spread the Bible all over the world, and which that was her husband, King James. Remember that. That's why you never saw Queen Elizabeth with her husband. Have y'all noticed that? You ain't never seen Queen Elizabeth with her husband. Like, damn, we know she the queen, but we ain't never seen the king. You see what I'm saying? Have you noticed that? You never, hold on. Queen Elizabeth in the movies. Look, Queen Elizabeth. Don't Queen Elizabeth got red hair? So when you go to the Titanic, don't she look like Rose on the Titanic with red long hair? Hold up. Look, Queen Elizabeth. So this Queen Elizabeth, you never heard who was her king. They never talked about it, right? But her husband was King James with the Bible. And we going about her husband Bible, and they the one that killed Jesus and overthrow Mary. Shit. Look how they predict her. Always with red hair. Look. Look who they look like. Red hair. All right. Esau and Jacob. Now you finna get a family tree. Watch it, Esau and Jacob. Red hair. See that? Red hair. Hold on. Hold on. Esau, red hair giants. Whoa! Red. Oh, they talk about this in the book of Genesis. So if I'm showing y'all the hair colors, just say if you know about Esau and the birthright and it's dealing and you know all the wars, think about Bigfoot. Think about the orangutans, right? When you think about the orangutans and Bigfoot with the red hair, think about what though, bruh, this in the book of Genesis. Think about Queen Elizabeth. So guess what? When they talk about, yeah, black people came from monkeys, nobody didn't came from monkeys. It was just, look what Esau would look like. Esau would look like a baby orangutan. And guess who they related to? A royal family. Queen Elizabeth. King James. Royal family, bruh. Red hair. You read this shit in the Bible. It's telling you Genesis. Read it in Genesis. They go back to Queen Elizabeth and Mary. That's why you got this image. If I didn't do no research, what you call this right here? Hold up. Hold up. If Mary was cousin with Queen Elizabeth at that time and they disputed on religions, and once they disputed on religion, why they got Jesus with a red hair, baby? Oh shit. I thought Jesus supposed to be dark skinned. They don't want y'all to believe that he was Iranian mixed with black and Jewish. So look, they got the sun. Why you think they got the sun in the back of his head? If I show you this, hold up. Right? Hold up. Now let me go back here. So look, when you go back to Egypt, look what these people look like. You know these people ain't black. These people had white people enslaved, building the pyramids. And look who they nationality is. Look at him. You can look at his nationality now like, oh, I know he ain't black. Oh, I see he clean cut shade. They ain't got no beard. Notice that you don't see nobody with beards building the pyramid, right? Nobody with beards. Look at the colors. If you go back to the history, that's why they had to wear black wigs and they were fur face. Fur face mean white face. Look at the hairstyle. Look at the hairstyle. Look at the headband, right? That's gonna tell you her whole nationality. Boom. Now, can we all agree them ain't black people? Them ain't black people. If you keep scrolling, right? Hold on, let me go to this. Look what they was into it about. This is Jesus' mama and Queen Elizabeth, right? Nobody didn't know Queen Elizabeth was related to Jesus' mama. Nobody didn't know that. Nobody didn't know that until I brought it up. If you didn't know that, thumb me up so we can have something to talk about. I didn't know that. So it would make sense why Herod was like, put it like this, y'all remember when they was like kill all the firstborns so they could catch Jesus when he was born? Guess who put the hit out on her? Her own cousin. Do they hit different now? Do they hit different now? You got a king out here that she related to, and they all related. They putting the hit out on her own nephew. Oh, do that make sense? King Herod. Once you look at King Herod, you're gonna find out, oh, she was the queen of Rome. And her husband was King James that's finna come out with the Bible. But they beefing with the mama and they killed the son and raised the mama really after history. Yeah, tell me, do that make sense now? Tell me, do that make sense? Man, you know what? I was talking to my people. Them folks was like, man, Trey Gang, the shit that you just found out with that family tree, man, you need to write a book. Or you need to do a documentary. And what you need to name that motherfucker is Mystery of the World. For real. I actually see the bloodline. They had me so blinded that you could look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I don't know who I am. All I just know, I'm a black American. It got to a point that people don't even want to know who they is. But if you find out who you really is, check this out. You can go to the Iranian store. Check this out. Watch this. Hold on. Where is John at? I must already delete that child. But now you see why all the neighborhood corner store is owned by the Iranians. Now you see why. Now you see why. They know your history, bro. That's why that's why when you wake up in the morning, the first store you go to, you from the hood, is the Iranian store. Them the first people you see when you go shopping. And not one time them folk told you, hey, well, I heard this before when, you know what I'm saying, when the Iranians said we were cousins. And I'm like, what you mean, you know what I'm saying, you cousin, you know what I'm saying? They were like, well, I'm like, well, I kind of believe that because, you know what I'm saying, y'all right there about Africa, so I could believe we cousins. Now I see why they would say the cousin theory. Man, before I get out of here, I just want to show y'all the images. Red hair don't lie. Red hair don't lie. If you go back to Esau, you tracing back her side of the family. Simple as that. You done trace Queen Elizabeth's side back to when you go back to Esau. Now you see how two nations was battling each other? Cause you know when they were twin and they said the brother gonna go against the other one, but you know what I'm saying, one gonna be bigger than the other one to build a great nation, right? Remember what the promise the father passed down to Jacob instead of Esau, and Esau had to treat Jacob like Cain and Abel? It's the same thing, because they were brothers too, right? They were brothers too, right? That's why, man, I look at that Bible so different, bro. Because if you just read the Bible alone, you would just have the truth right in your face, but you won't even understand what you're seeing. You won't even know what the truth really is. Look, put it like this here. That's why I brought up the Caucasus Mountain. That's why I brought up the Iranian. That's why the Iranians can trace their history way before Jesus was born. Damn near 2,500 years before he was born. You see what I'm saying? Check this out. And this leads back to the Garden of Eden in the book of Genesis. Then once you go here to the Iron Age, look when the Iron Age, look when they first give you history about the Iron Age. 1200 to before Christ, right? Now this the Iron Age. Stone Age. Let's go to the Stone Age. Now you see how the Stone Age go back way before the Iron Age. So think about, goddamn it, the Flintstones before iron was invented. So now you know, like, okay, I see what you're saying. That Trey Gang, boom, boom, Stone Age. The Iron Age, look when the Bronze Age. Right? Now you will see who took over in power. Let's go to the Copper Age. Look at the dates on this shit, bruh. If you look at the dates on this shit, boom. Now you see where you could trace the history back. Because this shit finna go back all the way to the 11th, 12th century before Christ. Them thousands of years, bruh. So boom. Look who was ruling. The Romans. Oh, you want to go to the Vikings? Don't you know Donald Trump is a Viking? Oh man, you go to the Donald Trump era. Guess who Donald Trump related to? Boy, this some cold shit. Man, you thinking Donald Trump was just a businessman because his daddy left him a fortune and all this? You ain't never looked up the whole Donald Trump family tree? Shit. I was shocked at the shit that I found out. Put it like this here. It's receipts on this shit. Every president, you could trace their family tree back to the Bible, and they was the one that had something to do with Jesus' murder. Think I'm lying? Look it up. Look it up. And I'm gonna show you how to look it up. If you look up who crucified Jesus, it's gonna give you a name. And once it give you the name, check this out. Once they give you the name, who was behind it, guess what it's gonna lead back up to? Mary and Elizabeth. Look at it like this here. They killed her son. Cause when they killed her son, right? They both come from a royal family, right? She couldn't have kids. Jesus was actually adopted. That's why they came up with the virgin birth. Cause you got to come up with adoption so you can say you have a baby, so your son could be cause both of these queens. This what they didn't tell y'all. Both of these queens and got the same power and authority. But one killed the son. Watch this. So they both related. They both got African incest. They came from a royal black family, which is us. Right? If you look at it like this, how can a person explain that? Say, all right. King David, Solomon, Pakistan, all that is Solomon, Gomorrah. All the wars that you ever heard in the Bible happened in Israel. It was all about family dispute. Put it like that. That's who they were fighting against, family. You got one family that's royalty and this family that's royalty. One of them gonna be chosen king to lead the religion. And this gonna be her child that she adopted. Or a virgin birth. Either way it go, he gonna be the king. So she had to kill him, get him out the way, but use Jesus' name. Just because she killed him and he was so powerful, they still got to represent him. If you watch this, I ain't even show y'all this yet. Hold up. Y'all remember the snake that taught the Adam and Eve? Y'all remember the snake that taught the Adam and Eve, right? Let me pull it up right quick. I'm gonna pull it up right quick. I know I passed that, John. So let me start from right here. Hold on. Man, y'all, I'm finna exit out this junk, cause I know I ain't even muted my microphone and none of this shit, and I'm sitting up here talking all this shit, girl. Man, make it so bad. All I just said, man, look at Samson. His hair red. You go to the book of Daniel, right? I mean, to the 12 tribes of Daniel, when I was talking about the Adam and Eve, you know the snake talked to Eve, right, and told her, take this forbidden fruit and you'll become wise. If you look at the 12 tribes of Israel that came from Cain's descent, now you will see why. They symbolize the snake. If you look at all the 12 tribes of Israel, they wasn't black. They wasn't black, but they came from black. So if you look at it, like, who is the real Jews? White or black? If you really want to know the truth, it's a lot of Jews from different races. And guess who the main? Don't you want to know who really run the world? I'm gonna show you who really run the world, right? I'm showing y'all where the snake come from. I'm showing y'all Queen Elizabeth got red hair. I showed y'all Queen Elizabeth and Prince Henry got red hair. Everybody know Esau got red hair, right? Then I'm showing y'all Samson got red hair. So now you know what descendant they come from. Since you know what descendant they come from, check this out. Samson was given superhuman powers by God, right? Notice that when it comes to these tribes, they've been led by God in a wicked ass way, right? Look. The Philistines. Oh, and that's what Israel right now, wiping out the Philistine people as we talk. All right. If you go back to the liar, look who she will be related to. Man, this shit crazy. Look, she was loved by Samson, right? Look at her image. Look what they was living in. Look. Uh-oh. So that's why she wanted to cut his hair. Now you got to think about why she really wanted to cut Samson hair. Right? Look how it go back to Jesus. Christian had compared the Julius scholar, Judah. Check this out. That's probably why, if you look at Queen Elizabeth, that's probably why she probably set those apostles up for Jesus, because guess who betrayed them? Judah. So it sounds like a backdoor, right? And you know who it was? Boy, this shit crazy. Oh, shit. That would make sense. That would make sense, bro. Cause guess what? When it all boiled down, guess who Jesus is gonna be related to? Goddamn Nipsey Hussle. Look. See that? And that's why they said Jesus was bronze, dots, you know what I'm saying? Feet was flame as fire, cause Jesus would mix with his bloodline, the Iranians bloodline that originated back in What? Adam and Eve? When you think about the dirt, and once you think about the dirt, if okay, this is where the black man come from the dirt. It wasn't in Africa because it was in Iran. This is where the Garden of Eden is in Iran. And once the Iranians were taking white people in slavery like Noah and them, they had to come up with a story and say, yeah, you know, well, it could. They probably didn't come up with a story about the flood, but they know they had to flee from their area because they was in slavery. And once they got in slavery, that's when they got so goddamn it smart. They came up with technology. You see what I'm saying? So the whole time, I'm like, if Jesus died when he was 33 years ago, why Revelation depicting him, he got white woolly hair? Oh, I see why they would come up with white woolly hair and all of that old shit. Because if you go back to goddamn Santa Claus, do we gotta go back to Santa Claus, y'all? Let's go back to Santa Claus, goddamn it. So now you see what Santa Claus look like. Look. Now you see. So look. Have you noticed on December, when it come to December, they said that's when Christ was born. If Christ was born on December, then you got this man coming down to Chile, and they said this Santa Claus, and this who he actually is Saint Nick. He was a Christian, a bishop from the Greek descended, from the Roman Empire. That means he related to Queen Elizabeth and these people that helped crucify Jesus. But check this out. If you got black people DNA in you, you cannot erase your DNA. I see why white people want to get a face implant. Look. Don't he look like Nipsey Hussle? When they show you a pictures of Jesus with his hair laid like he got a perm, what if Nipsey Hussle didn't braid his hair and just let his hair laid out? You know what I'm saying? Man, look just like Jesus, bro. You see what I'm saying? This the real goddamn Santa Claus. That's why they don't give you the last names. Have you know the Queen Elizabeth? Nobody don't know the last name. You mean tell me she just got one name, Queen Elizabeth? No last name, right? No last name. People accepting that. Look, check this out. Look when he was born. March the 15th, he was 73 when he died. Look when he was born. They ain't even giving you an accurate date on it. What? Why he perpetrating that Santa Claus? Hold on. In the early arrest of the most famous incident in his life, he said he arrested 3 girls for being forced into prostitution by dropping a sack of gold off through the window of their house. Whoa! Why they gotta deal with prostitution and human trafficking again? Cause don't y'all know how slavery was real deep in Jerusalem back in those days? Hey y'all. Somebody sent me a cash out. Who that was? Appreciate that, Jack. Appreciate it. So look, to make a long story short, right? Did y'all know, what if I tell y'all when it come to Obama? Don't y'all know Obama family was slaves? And he was the one that they made him, put it like this, they like Obama and teach him about the law and the politics, but enslave his whole family and treat them cruelty. Yeah. If you don't believe me, Google that shit up. Matter of fact, if you look up Obama cousin, no, not Obama cousin, but his brother, he was the first slave in Virginia that had a lawsuit and trying to free himself, and another person owned him and won the lawsuit. Like, nah, you still my slave. Mm-hmm. Well, y'all, let me get on the back there, John Gang. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the love and support. I'm going to put this video together so y'all can see what I see. Because, look, this is big. If you think I'm lying, bruh, if Trey Gang showed y'all the Jews, right? I ain't even show y'all all the Jews. I just show y'all the original Jews, which is that's going to be us. We enslaved the white man, and the Iranians helped us enslave the white man. And to Africans start making a deal with the white man and start slaving their own people. Right? So when they enslaving their own people, one thing they cannot deny is DNA. That motherfucking DNA. Look, check this out. If you wake up in the morning, if you go to work in the morning, or whatever you do tomorrow, take the time out and just look at your surroundings. Like if you at Kmart or a grocery store or at your job or in a warehouse, wherever the case you may be in traffic, just look at everybody surround you and you will start noticing, be like, damn, white man always make fun of black people. Know, like, yeah, y'all got some big ass noses and big ass lips. Until you turn around and look at them, be like, damn, shit, you got our big ass nose and our big ass lips too. I see why you mad. Oh, I see why you hate black people so much, because you hate for the simple fact that bloodline is in you and you can see those features. See, we blind. We don't see those features like this in a white man, right? That's why they had to shoot all the noses and the lips off in Egypt. Shit. Hi, y'all. And that's why racism. That's why I believe racism is just a distraction. Because they really hate you not because of you black, it's because they got black in them. And they hate that shit, and it's killing them folk, bro. It's killing the races that they know they got. That's why they hate you so much. Cause when you think about it, you be like, man, why these white folk always, when they see us, they ready to kill us, they ready to do this shit to us, they don't want to talk, they just hate us, and they don't never give us a reason why they hate us. When they give you a reason, they be like, cause you're monkeys, you're lazy, and not, but they don't give you a real excuse. Why you really hate us? You know what I'm saying? It's not because a motherfucker got gold rims, ride big rims, cause they ride big rims on them monster truck tires. You know what I'm talking about? Shit, black people like to chill in the woods. Go hunting and shit, just like white people like to go in the woods. But when it come to athletic, White people like to ski. They come from Conqueror's Mountain where the snow at, and Antarctica. And Antarctica is right there with Santa Claus there, right? So that's why when you look at all they games, they like to slide down hills, mountain climbing. You know what I'm saying? They just adapt to their nature when it comes to mountain type shit. So when you go to black folk know how to run, fight, you know what I'm talking about, cook, and all this old shit. You know what I'm talking about? Man, look, not only black people is royalty, see, that's what the white man got us messed up at. And when they come to history, they want you to think about black. Don't never forget about the Asians. Don't never forget about the Indians. You see what I'm saying? Because keep this in mind, they hate them too. Keep this in mind, an Indian don't even hate you, bro. You see what I'm saying? An African don't even hate you. Look at the people that hate you. The people, put it like this here, the main people that got a main issue with race problem is because they uneducated of their history. That's all. That's why they hate you. Because they know the truth. But when they tell you, they're going to say you just some lazy niggas, you don't want to do nothing, you eat watermelon all day and shoot your own kind. That's the only excuse they're going to give you. But if you really want to know the truth, if a white man confess, be like, this reason why I hate you niggas. Cause goddamn, I wish my goddamn ancestors would have never fucked you niggas. And had baby back you niggas. You see what I'm saying? They the one that got really murder on their mind, killing. Really, black people is really peaceful until you teach them violence. You see what I'm saying? Like all white people, it's not racist, bro. You got white people that know the truth. Know the truth about your history and scared to talk to you about it because they don't want you to be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Shit, I done learned a lot about this shit, bro. Check this out. Every Jew that's in Hollywood came from Caucasus Mountain. Ain't that something? Well, they settled in Caucasus Mountain because they were fleeing Africa. They were fleeing Africa. So what they did was when they came to the United States, they got some get back. We're gonna bring some Africans over there. What they did was they just promised Africa, look, we got a new world over here. We discovered some new land. Come over here and we can make a lot of money. So when they came over here, you know what I'm saying, to make a lot of money, right? They figured out like, damn, I thought we were gonna make some money. Oh no, we pay you once a year. That's how income tax came, cause that's when they started like, yeah, you get paid a year and start fucking them out the money. You know what I'm talking about? Hey y'all, appreciate the super chat. Man, that's a nice little donation. I appreciate that. So now look, so if you look at this Caucasus Mountain right here, you see that? That's Caucasus Mountain. Once you go back to Fred Flintstone, he was in the Stone Age. The Stone Age is a mountain. Everybody know how that cartoon came out. They even had it with dinosaurs in it. You see what I'm saying? They had dinosaurs in the goddamn TV show. The dinosaurs. So look, if they had dinosaurs, that means they already had cars and moving around. Cause that's, you know, everybody know what the Flintstone car. The wheels were stone. They weren't even rubber yet. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at the Flintstones, think about Carcass Mountain, Born in Rubber, and then look, I bet not see no redhead chick. I bet not see no redhead chick when it comes to the Flintstones. Hold on. Wait a minute. The Flintstones. Wait a minute. Can we all agree? Can we all agree? Watch this. Now why won't let me play the video? Y'all see they didn't want to even let me play the video. Hold on.
From idea to submission, empower students to do their best work with Grammarly's comprehensive AI writing assistant.
Oh, boy, good old Sunday. Nothing to do but lazy around and read the Sunday paper.
Look how big his nose is. Oh, you see how big his nose is? Then look, this man already got a tie on. A tie. Look at the outfit. But you got a tie on? Come on, man.
Oh, honey,
Yes, Fred?
did you see the Sunday paper?
No, Fred hasn't come yet. Oh,
Oh!
Mr. Flintstone!
Is that what you call?
Here's your paper. Tax.
On the stone. They delivering stone letters. Remember Moses with the 10 Commandments? And then make it so bad they already had scooters. This how advanced these people were. Boy, these folks already had scooters. When I was watching this never existed. Not this. Not this.
No, honey.
With red-haired people. Look at his wife. Look, red-haired people. His wife was red-haired. So look, these people so cold. So now you see why Queen Elizabeth had to come like this. Shit. 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 Of the United Kingdom. You see what I'm saying? So now I understand the cartoon now.
Why, no, miss. Mr. Flintstone isn't home yet.
So you mean to tell me they was already communicating, had phones in the Ice Age? Look how this shit here different. They already stand in a big ass rock, a cave. You got cavemen. Think about Lot. You remember Lot? Escaped from Solomon and Gomorrah and went in the cave. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hi, y'all. Man, let me get on that there, Jack, because I said I'm going to put this video together and stuff. But hold on, let's go to the Jetsons right quick. The Jetsons. God damn, he got red hair. So y'all know the red hair is real, bruh. The red hair is real. Look. Now you see, oh, that's why he got the red hair. Look at Jane. Look at, you got a robot. Come on, man. Look. Man, let me get on up about this, John. Cause man, this Jackson came out in the 60s. Now this is the 60s. They already flying in space. Check this out. Hold up. They already in space. They talking on the flat screen with his boss. They was already FaceTiming on her. Pull up the flat screen. You know how we go live right now? So I won't even be surprised in the next 1,000 years and that when they actually will be having flying cars and you know what I'm talking about. But look, if you want to know why they came up with the Jetson, look who the Jetson look like. The wife, especially the wife. Come on, man. They trying to make these old bitches look like they some goddamn, you know what I'm talking about? Shit. Look, red hair. Again. Check this out. Once you go to Philip, everybody know what this family tree finna go to. And once you go back to his family tree, then you be like, oh, okay, boom. I see why. Now, boom, boom, boom. Boom. Now you see why. Oh, that's why the United States always showing off this side of the royal family. When they show Queen Elizabeth, they expect you to watch her. You know what I'm saying? When she come out the church and wave, they expect you to be out there waving back at her. Yeah. Man, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. Cause I'm so excited to give y'all this information, right? Cause this, if you see everything I got up right now, Caucasus Mountain, all this finna date back to the Bible, and they gave you timestamps on this stuff. Then when they gave me timestamp on this stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, I see why in the beginning, before you get this image, you got the Tower of Baal, right? Everybody know Baal is a devil worshiper. Guess where it originated from? Africa. It's people in Africa that were worshiping the devil. That's where they got it from. You see what I'm saying? Because they wouldn't know nothing about the devil unless the Africans put them up on them. That's where you get witches from. Remember that? Because you don't hear about no witches when they come to Afghanistan and all that, but you hear about it in Africa, though. Voodoo, Haiti, you know what I'm saying? All that. I'm so glad that you named Elon Musk. Oh, man. Don't you know who Elon Musk look like? Let me show you who Elon Musk look like. Santa Claus. He just ain't fat, though. He just ain't fat, though, right? Now, you see how Santa Claus so pale? And you know, his cheek would turn red, you know what I'm saying, when it's cold and all this old stuff. Let's pull up and see, do Elon Musk look like Santa Claus? We'll be right back. Hold on. Hold up. Elon Musk.
According to biography.com, Elon Musk is the founder of SpaceX and Tesla Motors, among other companies. Their success has propelled him to become the richest person in the world, with a net worth greater than $386 billion.
Don't he look like Santa Claus, just clean shaven? Shit, let me pull it up. Oh, man. Hold up. Where you at, Santa Claus? Right, girl? What? Hi, y'all. I'm out, y'all. Say, I love y'all, man. Y'all be cool. And y'all be safe. And I'll be back. I'm going to do a part 2 of this, John. I'm going to put a video together. So when I put the video together and go back with my narrative, I just want to go clean and extra crispy. Because y'all see what I'm finna go with when it comes to this real Santa Claus. He look just like the character. This the real Santa Claus. So when it comes to the real Santa Claus, look what you got to look into. You see what I'm saying? If you look up at his family tree, boy, watch this. He was born in South Africa. He a foreigner. So that means he got a green card. He's not a U.S. citizen. He's not a U.S. citizen, right? Look at his children. All right, this one of his kids right there. You know what I'm saying? She Elon Musk and his first wife had, you know what I'm saying? Wilson came out as a transgender woman and twin. So this a boy? That's a boy? Damn, look at it. Ah. See when you pull this shit up? That's one thing that got me. How would you be a racist in a part of the brute and still will be baptized? Oh, I see why. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, I see why. I see why Jesus is so important. Look, they're ready for you to believe Jesus is fake. You know what I'm saying? They're ready to believe you. Yeah, Jesus died on that cross. Put it like this here. If we kill Jesus by the gun and we got an image with a gun against Jesus' head, would you make a diamond chain with a gun to Jesus' head? Be like, yeah, man, this shout out to Jesus. Cause if you wouldn't do that, why would you wear a cross around your neck? Cause guess who invented the cross? Elizabeth family. That's what they killed them on. See what I'm saying? Shit. Man, let me get on up about this junker. Man, I'm so hyped for this stuff. Elon Musk got a young brother named Cabal. Oh, that's his brother right there. He got a sister. Oh, shit now. You think you cute, honey bun? Oh, yeah, I see what's going on. why to prove how education, you know, I'm talking about all the business career, this is brother, you know, he had a company, right? Then, you know, Chicago News gonna report on this shit. You know, oh, I see why he rich. I see why he rich. And he was raised in South Africa. So if he was raised in South Africa, that explains why he became rich in South Africa. And that's where most of those slave moves were basically all Cape Town, Johannesburg. And then when you go to West Africa, you know what I'm saying, all that, that's where you get slave moves from. Oh, I peep the game now. I peep the game. So when I go live tomorrow, I'm gonna show y'all proof Obama family was in slavery. He was probably the only one they bought and they raised him up in the politics. But the rest of his family, they had hard labor. And that's why they made him a president. You know what I'm talking about? Hi y'all. Check ain't look y'all, man. I'm out. Y'all be cool.